Hi, this is Corework Trainer Tips. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is stomach massage.
Flat and round.
There we go. So we're going to discuss a little bit about this exercise because it may be new. And there's definitely some tweaks that you might want to think about and look for when you're teaching this exercise. First and foremost is that typically you're somewhere between maybe 5 and 3 with the incline level. I'm going to have Nicole pop onto the GTS. She'll be sitting. And she's going to be at the bottom edge of the glide board. Her feet, as we taught in the video, just to review, are going to go on the struts first. She has some nice little gripper socks we see here. Like that. So ideally, we're going to go with round back and then flat back, because that's how we did it in the video. If the feet are in this parallel position, that's okay. Typically, we go into a turnout position. So I'm going to take her heels, bring them slightly turned in. And now you go up into that high half toe again. And now, just to even get her moving and comfortable, I'll just have her bend and straighten her knees. Naturally, she's going to want to hold on to something right here. So we're just going to have you pause right at the top. Keeping the heels high, toes slightly turned out. She's beautiful engagement of the legs. You're going to take the body, and you're beautiful. You're going to drop and round up and over an imaginary ball. So now there's a posterior tilt. And there's flexion throughout the spine. And then she's going to go a little bit more if she wants to into that rounded position. Hands can be here to start, so she can come down and up. Now knees, especially when you're on this lower strut, you'll have to feel like they're going to come out a little bit more, really wide, just to allow for that ability for the body to move down the glide board. Now you can take this movement pattern. She can also take the hands, place them underneath the thighs. And that kind of brings her up a little bit straight. So I'm going to say, okay, can you go underneath the glide board and then keep that rounded position and then move forward. So you're going to find that each person will respond a little bit differently to where you tell them to put their hands. For Nicole, the best position appears to be here with her hands out in front. And that's why I would cue her. Now I start someone's feet off on the struts. You can take a break. That allows for a little bit less hip flexor and tightness and pulling when the feet are kind of in this wide end position. It also helps with someone who's a little bit bigger in the abdominal area to allow them to go through the full excursion. Typically though, your feet are onto the toe bar and they're going to be in that V position, heels lifted, hands underneath the thighs or in front in that rounded position, and then she's going to come down and up. The cue and the key is to hopefully try to keep those heels together eventually. It's okay if they come apart, but eventually you want to move those feet closer and closer together and glue those inner thighs together as you push up. Now, this may be really hard. You can take a break if you need to, Nicole, because the toe bar is up high. A lot of times, hamstrings are going to pull someone right under, and you'll take this nice form that Nicole had, and she'll go right into a really far back, and she'll be really leaning back now off her sit bones. She didn't do that, but a lot of people will. So changing the toe bar height down to level 1 can be super helpful to help people still maintain that movement pattern and feel as if they can fluidly move through the movement without going really into an excessive posterior tilt and really going rounded over. So keeping this philosophy with the toe bar height, the legs staying together and in, changing the position on the struts. The only thing that changes between round to flat back is your thoracic position and your cervical position. So she's going to go back to her feet in that same position. And we showed this in the video. Some people will say hands behind feel way challenging because they're tight through their chest and they feel like getting their arms behind them is really hard for them. Other people feel like that's a really nice position for me and I can stay lifted and extended, slight posterior tilt as I come down and up. In this position, you might find it even easier to look at the knees and make sure the knees are tracking over that second and third toe and they have that active. That's okay, you can go a little bit wider, you're good. Also, the key is, why is this stomach massage? Because eventually you want to take that pressure off the hands and turn that engagement and that stabilization into the abdominal. So having someone reach forward is super helpful. Seems to be my word on this thing, super. And then from here, you can also have the hands come up and down, which even challenges it that much more. Again, if someone's tight in their lats, this will be challenging. But that's the difference between round and flat. Posterior pelvic tilt remains the same. It's the thoracic extension and cervical extension that you'll see. Be cognizant of where you tell people to put their hands. Everyone's going to feel different, whether it's behind you, whether it's in front, whether it's up in the air. There's no right or wrong way. I used to think, okay, this would be the hardest for some, but this might be the easiest because now they feel in their body they can get the length. When I had someone reach their arms out straight, which technically you're saying take away their base of support, that would be harder than hands behind. Someone said, you know, hands behind are really hard. And I thought, that question why? Because you always have to say, why is it harder? And it was because they were so tight in their chest, they struggled so much to get back here that they felt they had to bend forward, and to keep the thoracic extension was too challenging for them. So think about all the different hand positions, arm positions. Remember the different foot positions. Start someone off easy, get someone in that position, you know, with their feet, second position with the toe bar height, have them move through the movement pattern, and then start to tweak it around and let people explore within their body to allow them to feel, how do I take this movement and take it from my legs and maybe like my arms if I'm leaning back, and transfer it into my abdominals to get that stomach massage. Thank you.